Hello, this is Shobha Mathur. Welcome to ET Auto Month in Review. We'll be discussing the results of the automotive industry in June and Q1 of this financial year. I've got with me here Nabil Khan, editor of ET Auto. Nabil, the specter of GST brought the sales across the segments down to 1.26%, though Q1 was better at 6.02%. So how much of a revival do you see going forward?
See, the month of June was more of a month where every manufacturer was taking cautionary actions, so they did not, some of them did not want to push inventory because they were not aware of the rule or what kind of tax implication is going to come, as well as the dealers who were the actual sellers. They were also not very, keen on taking and holding up inventory because they were not aware how it is going to translate. So if you look at month of June, it is really not the right indicator to really find out the industry's performance. Going forward, July and August, you will certainly see a better numbers when it comes to dispatches, because we are mostly talking about dispatches, and ultimately retail will also do much better.
In fact, the passenger vehicle sales are facing the steepest double-digit decline at 11.21% in 49 months during. So this is during June. So is it a cause for concern?
No, not at all, because you look at there are two companies which pushed inventory. That was Maruti Suzuki and Honda. At the same time, they had run a campaign that if there is a change, we will compensate for that to both the consumer as well as the dealer. So that's why they continued with the dispatches. Other company, they did not take any risk and they stopped dispatches. Look at Toyota, they sent less than 2,000 vehicles. So they thought that we'll send only those vehicles which really has demand, the booked vehicle that the people are ready to buy. They did not want to hold up any inventory. So that was the reason. It will not really have any bearing in the upcoming months.
Talking of Maruti Suzuki, Maruti has overtaken Mahindra and Mahindra, the original SUV maker. And the Vitara Brezza and Ertiga are doing really well.
Look at the market condition. Mahindra has been sole player. If you look at the UVS space, or there was Tata Sumo in the past that was giving competition. Apart from that, no, major passenger vehicle players had, products in this segment. But when Maruti Suzuki introduced Vitara Brezza, Hyundai number 2 passenger vehicle seller in the country brought in Creta, that really changed the market scenario, after Renault Duster. So both these players came in and cut the market share from Mahindra and Mahindra. Apart from that, what happened that Mahindra's best selling products like a Scorpio and Bolero started winning out its popularity among the customers, and especially more of urban and women buyers started buying utility vehicles, and they wanted smoothness as well as macho look of the vehicle as well. It should look like SUV, but it should drive and have character like sedan or a hatchback. There Hyundai did well, Maruti Suzuki did well, but the character of Mahindra's vehicle remained that robust and masculine, even in driving. Driving character also remained rustic. That was not much preferred by women buyers and young urban buyers. Apart from that, if you look at Mahindra's recent launches like TUV 300, KUV 100, they were not able to catch the imagination of UV buyers. That has also impacted. So this is not for the first time. It's been to and fro, that Maruti has been dominating in the UV sales in the last few months. So that's the only outcome of a continuous trend.
Right. The number 2 Hyundai has also been on the decline in June, and in fact the only two car makers, Maruti and Hyundai cars, have done well. So is it a cause for worry?
Not really. Look at Maruti. They have Maruti has been able to excite the market. If you're talking about overall passenger vehicle segment, they have been continuously launching and a new product like they have Desire, they have brought Ignis, and others. Brezza is much newer product than compared to Hyundai, which brought a Creta long time ago. They had brought accent, they have brought some changes that could have some but looking at their production capacity constraint, and there's no much new novelty in the product that Hyundai has right now. Creta has also become quite it's been time now that it came into the market, so now it needs either a refresh model or something to do with Creta. Apart from that, I think the pricing factor is also there in Creta, that has dampened the sales of Hyundai. And looking forward, if you look at Hyundai's plan, they have Verna coming up, they have another compact SUV coming up. If that compact SUV comes, I think then again they will see a revival in their sales in Indian market.
A silver lining though is that SIM numbers show that India has come to the top position in terms of sales growth compared to the global economies. So
yeah, so it has to happen. India is a market which is still maturing. You have around 20 vehicles, 20 cars, or per 1,000 people. And look at other market; they have penetrated a lot. The volume has been very huge. Indian market do not have that kind of volume, so it has to grow. And once upon a time will be, of course, having larger numbers. So once we reach that peak, till then we'll see a better growth in India compared to any other market.
Amidst this euphoria, you've got the medium and the heavy commercial vehicles. They have been on the decline, though LCVs have done better. So how do you see this growth?
So there are 2-3 things you need to notice. Look at the rural market, that has not been performing so well. That's the reason LCV has been going down. And there is another reason why. Look at LCV segment, the passenger carrier is not doing so well, because only reason is for last mile connectivity where LCV was used. Now there is a trend that a large number of electric rickshaws, 6-seaters, 7-seaters has come, that is being used for last mile connectivity. That has eaten in the market share of LCV. And look at 3-wheeler segment, there also this segment is eating into that area also, in 3-wheeler also, in passenger carrier. However, in some goods carrier it is not that much of an impact, because it has not still started getting into this electric vehicle has not started getting into that space. But slowly we'll see in goods carrier also the impact coming in.
So do you see the 3-wheeler segment sort of recovering, or is it going to go down further?
I don't see any much recovery until there is some change is brought in, because I see these 3-wheeler manufacturers also slowly, gradually moving towards electric vehicle, because that is a little, if you talk about operating cost and all, then electric vehicle fares much better. That's not a lithium powered electric vehicle, that's a normal battery, that is not high cost, so that will of course increase, they'll have increasing number of buyers than this, in terms of fleet, and because that is mainly used for commercial purpose, taking people for last mile connectivity, like from metro to the colonies, or from town to village, or 20-30 kilometers of distance, 50 kilometers of distance. So there the 3-wheeler market has completely gone, LCV market has completely been on the decline. So that's the reason I don't see much of an improvement, but it will be better once rural market picks up. So it will be slightly better, and this all confusion of GST has gone back, that will also bring some positive change in this space. You talked about the MSCV segment also. So MSCV segment is has a lot to do with the overall economic activities that is going to happen. Look at the IIP number. Mining activities has slowed down. There's no much activity happening there. Look at the manufacturing output. That is also slowing down. So for commercial vehicle, I'm not very optimistic for, at least in medium term. Maybe in long term there will be a revival. Look at the schemes like JNNURM. There is no much activity on schemes like that, in urbanization and all. So if those things start coming up, we'll see some revival. But at least in medium term, I don't see much of a revival. But of course, there will be certain upward trend because of the clarity brought in after GST.
Regarding urbanization, you just mentioned that the scooters are doing really well, and motorcycles also sort of picking up now. So do you see this 2-wheeler segment doing really well going forward?
Yeah, it will improve much better. Look at the scooter is mainly an urban phenomena, and increasing urbanization is certainly going to help two-wheeler industry. Look at two-wheeler industry above 150 cc is also gaining traction now, above 120 cc, and the market which were largely dominated by rural phenomena, that has also started doing much better because of a positive monsoon that has been predicted, and monsoon has arrived on time. So that is also a big positive for two-wheeler industry, and I am very hopeful that it will start gaining traction in them.
And how bullish are you about the implications of GST going forward?
See, GST, if you look at long term, it is going to have positive impact only on the automobile sector, especially passenger vehicle. Smaller passenger vehicle will become cheaper, and that will really help the industry gain numbers. So I don't see much of a negative, rather than it will be a positive. It will take time for people to understand the complication, to understand the system, how to do billings and all. I spoke to a couple of dealers, and the big ones have really been able to catch up, but the smaller ones, small village, town, sub districts area, that has to really understand. The government should also start and speed up the process of supporting, like in a call center and all that. More people should be deployed, because most of the time you call up those helpline numbers, that is not working. So all the things will come in place in next few months, and that will ultimately result in positive for the automotive industry.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.